Racist cops officer humiliates black woman. Didn't know she was a judge. The courthouse doors swing open and Judge Alyssa Monroe steps into her destiny. Her heels click on marble, her black robe flowing like a promise of justice. She's ready first day federal court, a black woman carving her place in history. But a shadow looms at the security checkpoint. Hey, you, a white security officer badge glinting smirks. Lost janitor's rooms in the basement. His voice drips venom. Colleagues pause, eyes darting. Alyssa's breath catches, but her face stays stone. I'm Judge Monroe, she says, voice low, sharp. Show respect. The officer's smirk twists into a scowl. Respect? He spits, stepping closer. Don't play fancy with me, girl. The slur slices the air raw and ugly. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Alyssa's fists clench, but she stands tall, unyielding. Step back, she warns, calm but iron. His face reddens. Threatening me? He snarls, hand on his taser. Before she can speak, he fires. Wires snap. Electricity crackles. Alyssa collapses, pain searing her chest. Her robe tangles as she hits the floor, gasping. Stay down, he shouts, cuffs clicking tight on her wrists. Onlookers freeze, horrified, as he drags her across the marble. Her dream justice lies shattered in the lobby. Handcuffed, humiliated, she's no judge now. Just a black woman in chains, accused, mocked, broken. But Alyssa's eyes burn. This isn't the end. It's the spark. The police station reeks of stale coffee and sweat. Flickering fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting harsh shadows on cracked linoleum. Alyssa sits, wrists raw from cuffs, her scorched robe clinging to her skin. The air is the thick, suffocating heavy with the tang of injustice. Distant voices, officers, laughing phones ringing great against her ears. A clock ticks each second, a mockery of her stolen dignity. Inside, Alyssa burns. Pain throbs where the taser struck, but it's the humiliation that cuts deeper. She, a federal judge, reduced to this, a suspect in a dingy room. Anger surges hot and fierce, yet she clenches her jaw, refusing to break. Her mind churns. Years of study, sacrifice, fighting for justice, now mocked by a bigot's slur. But beneath the rage, resilience stirs. She's faced worse South Baltimore's streets. Her mother's weary eyes, she's not helpless, not defeated. Her gaze hardens, locking on the door. Someone's coming. Her heart pounds, but her spine straightens. This room won't hold her. She's Judge Alyssa Monroe, and she'll rise again. 20 years ago, South Baltimore's cracked sidewalks were Alyssa Monroe's world. She was 12, braids, tight eyes, bright, running home from school with a library book clutched tight. Her mother, a nurse, working double shifts, preached one rule: study hard, baby. They'll try to break you, but knowledge is power. Alyssa listened. Her neighborhood was rough, gunshots at night, boarded up houses, but she dreamed big. A lawyer, maybe a judge, someone who'd make things right. She was relentless. Straight A's debate team captain, scholarships piling up. At Howard University, she shone her voice, commanding courtrooms and mock trials. Law school followed, then clerkships, each step a climb against doubt. You're too young, too. Black too female, they whispered. She ignored them. At 35, her appointment as a federal judge was historic, the first black woman in her district's court. She'd earned it every late night, every sacrifice. Yesterday, she stood before her mirror, adjusting her new robe. It felt like armor. Her husband, Jamal, kissed her forehead. You're unstoppable, he said. She believed it. The courthouse was her stage justice, her mission. She'd seen prejudice before, sneers in law school, snubs at galas, but nothing prepared her for today. The security officer's slur wasn't random. It was rooted in a system that saw her skin before her robe, her gender before her gavel. He didn't check her ID, didn't pause. To him, she was an intruder, not a judge. His mockery janitor's room echoed centuries of stereotypes. Alyssa's crime existing as a black woman in a space meant for power. The absurdity burned. She'd spent years proving her worth, yet one man's bias reduced her to a target. Back in the station, Alyssa's mind flashes to her mother's tired eyes. Her words, they'll try to break you. She'd faced bias in courtrooms, but never violence. The officer's taser wasn't just a weapon, it was a message. Stay in your place. But Alyssa never stayed small. Her resolve hardens. She's fought too long, climbed too high. This injustice won't define her. It'll fuel her. The interrogation room is a cage, its gray walls closing in. Alyssa sits, hands cuffed behind her, the metal biting her skin. Her robe, once a symbol of authority, is crumpled, stained with sweat and taser burns. Officer Daniel Hargrove, the man who shot her, leans against the table, his smirk as sharp as a blade. His badge gleams under the flickering light, a mockery of justice. Two other officers stand by the door, arms crossed, eyes cold. She's alone, stripped of power, her title meaningless here. So, Judge Monroe, Hargrove sneers, dragging out her title like a slur. You think you're somebody, huh, waltzing into my courthouse, acting all high and mighty? He circles her boots, thudding on the floor. I know your kind, always pushing where you don't belong. Alyssa's jaw tightens, but her voice is steady. My kind. You mean a federal judge or just a black woman who scares you? His face twists, eyes narrowing. Don't get smart with me, he snaps, slamming a fist on the table. The sound echoes sharp and jarring. You threatened me, raised your voice. I did my job, neutralized a threat. Neutralized, Alyssa's laugh is bitter, cutting. You mocked me, insulted me, shot me without cause. That's not your job, that's abuse. Hargrove leans in, his breath hot with coffee and contempt. You're no judge, you're just another loudmouth from the projects playing dress up. The racial undertone hangs heavy, unspoken but clear. Alyssa's chest tightens, memories of South Baltimore flashing kids. Taunted dreams crushed. She wants to scream, to fight, but the cuffs hold her back, a physical reminder of her powerlessness. Write your report, she says, voice low, controlled. Lie all you want, the truth will come out. He laughs, a harsh bark. Truth, I'm the law here. You're just a problem I'm fixing. He nods to the officers at the door. Booker. Disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. Let's see how her fancy title holds up in a cell. One officer hesitates, his eyes flickering with doubt. Sir, she's a judge. Shouldn't we? You questioning me? Hargrove snaps, his authority absolute. The officer falls silent, stepping forward to grab Alyssa's arm. His grip is rough, yanking her to her feet. Pain shoots through her shoulder, but she bites back a wince, refusing to give Hargrove the satisfaction. As they drag her toward the holding area, the station buzzes with activity phones, ringing, officers chatting. No one looks at her. No one questions why a woman in a judge's robe is being treated like a criminal. The isolation is suffocating. Her colleagues at the courthouse, her husband, her friends. They don't know she's here. She's invisible, reduced to a number in a system that Hargrove manipulates with ease. In the holding cell, the door clangs shut. The space is small, reeking of bleach and despair. Alyssa sinks onto the bench, her body aching, her mind racing. Hargrove's words echo, You're no judge. They sting, but they also ignite something. She's faced men like him before, arrogant, cruel, drunk on power. Each time she's fought back, not with fists, but with her mind, her integrity. She's not broken yet. Her eyes drift to the cell's barred window. A sliver of daylight cuts through, faint, but stubborn. She thinks of her mother, her voice a lifeline. They'll try to break you. Hargrove thinks he's won, that his badge and bias can erase her. He's wrong. Alyssa's not just a judge, she's a survivor. She'll find a way out, a way to turn this moment into a reckoning. But for now, she's trapped. The cuffs, the cell, the silence, they scream her powerlessness. Hargrove's laughter lingers in her ears, a taunt. She closes her eyes, steadying her breath. This is the lowest point, the moment where hope feels like a lie. Yet deep within, a spark remains. Someone will come. Someone will see. And when they do, Hargrove will learn what justice really means. The cell's cold bench numbs Alyssa's legs, but her mind races sharp as ever. Hargrove's taunts echo, but she pushes them aside. She's not powerless, she never has been. Years of navigating courtrooms, outsmarting opponents, and building alliances have taught her one truth. Power isn't just a title, it's who you know. And Alyssa knows someone who can crack this cage wide open. Her thoughts flash to Marcus Green, her childhood friend from South Baltimore. Marcus, who shared her dreams of rising above their neighborhood's grit. While she chose law, he chose policing, vowing to reform the system from within. Now he's Police Chief Marcus Green, respected, influential. If anyone can help, it's him. But how to reach him? No phone, no allies here. She scans the cell, eyes landing on a young officer passing by his badge, reading Officer Tate. He's new, nervous. His eyes flickering with unease when he glances at her. Officer Tate, Alyssa calls, voice calm but commanding. He pauses, hesitant. I need to speak to Chief Marcus Green. It's urgent. Tate shifts, uneasy. Ma'am, I can't just... I'm Judge Alyssa Monroe. She cuts in her tone, carrying the weight of her robe even in this cell. You know what happened at the courthouse. You know it's wrong. Get me to Chief Green and I promise you'll be on the right side of this. Tate's jaw tightens, but something in her eyes, resolved truth, makes him nod. I'll see what I can do. He walks off, leaving Alyssa with a spark of hope. Minutes crawl by, each one heavy. Then the door clanks open. Marcus Green steps in his broad frame, filling the doorway. His face familiar yet hardened by years, pales at the sight of her cuffed disheveled, her robe scorched. Alyssa. His voice cracks a mix of shock and fury. What the hell is this? Marcus, she says, relief flooding her. It's bad. Officer Hargrove, he mocked me, used a racial slur, tased me. They're charging me with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. It's a lie. Marcus's eyes blaze. He turns to Tate. Get those cuffs off her. Now. Tate fumbles with the keys, freeing her wrists. Alyssa rubs the raw skin, her dignity flickering back. Marcus pulls out his phone, barking orders. I want the incident report, security footage, witness statements. Immediately. Hargrove bursts in, face red. Chief, she's a threat. Shut it. Marcus snaps, his authority dwarfing Hargrove's. You tased a federal judge. You're done unless you've got a miracle in that report. Hargrove falters, his bravado crumbling. Marcus turns to Alyssa, voice low. I'm suspending him pending investigation, but this goes deeper. Hargrove's got friends, cops, maybe higher. We need to play this smart. Alyssa nods, her mind already strategizing. Get me out of here, Marcus. I'll handle the rest in court. Her voice carries a new edge determination forged in this cell. She's not just a victim anymore. She's a judge with a mission. Marcus escorts her out past stunned officers. The station's buzz fades as they step into the daylight. Alyssa breathes deep, the air tasting of freedom, but her heart pounds. Hargrove's suspension is a start, but his allies lurk. She's exposed his prejudice, but the system protecting him is vast, shadowy. Her next move could topple him or destroy her. As they reach Marcus's car, a reporter's camera flashes nearby. The story's leaking. Alyssa freezes, realizing the world might soon know her humiliation and her fight. Will she step into the spotlight, risking everything to expose Hargrove's abuse? Or will his allies strike first, twisting the truth to bury her? The answer hangs sharp and heavy as the car door slams shut. 3 weeks later, the federal courthouse hums with tension. Alyssa Monroe strides through its marble halls, her black robe pristine, her head high. The sting of cuffs and taser burns lingers in memory, but her eyes are steel. Today she's not a victim, she's Judge Monroe presiding over Officer Daniel Hargrove's hearing. The irony is sharp. The man who mocked her, tased her, now stands before her, his fate in her hands. The courtroom is packed. Reporters, colleagues, activists, their whispers fading as Alyssa takes the bench. Hargrove stands pale, his badge gone, his arrogance dulled. His lawyer, a slick man in a gray suit, shifts nervously. Alyssa's gavel cracks, silencing the room. We begin, she says, a voice clear, commanding. Officer Hargrove, you're charged with assault, abuse of power, and racial discrimination. How do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor. Hargrove mutters, eyes darting. His lawyer launches into a defense, claiming Alyssa provoked him, that he acted in self-defense. The lies are flimsy, unraveling under scrutiny. Alyssa's face remains impassive, but inside anger simmers. She's seen men like Hargrove dodge accountability, shielded by badges and bias. Then the evidence speaks. Marcus Green, now a towering figure in the prosecution's case, presents damning proof security footage showing Hargrove's unprovoked attack, witness statements from courthouse staff, and Alyssa's own testimony delivered with unshakable calm. He mocked my position, used a racial slur, and tased me without cause. She states her words, cutting through the room. The crowd murmurs outraged. A surprise witness steps forwards. Officer Tate, the young rookie from the station. His voice shakes but holds firm. I saw it all. Hargrove targeted her because of her race. He bragged about putting her in her place afterward. The courtroom erupts, gasps, and whispers swelling. Hargrove's lawyer stammers, his defense collapsing. Alyssa's heart pounds, but her rulings are precise, fair. She allows every argument, every piece of evidence, ensuring no one can cry foul. The system, often slow to act, moves swiftly now. Federal investigators, spurred by Marcus's report and public outcry, have already reviewed the case. Hargrove's allies, cops who backed him, face scrutiny, their influence waning. After hours of testimony, Alyssa delivers her verdict. Officer Hargrove, your actions were a betrayal of your oath and an assault on justice itself. You are guilty on all charges. Her voice is steady, each word a hammer. You are hereby stripped of your position and sentenced to 2 years in federal prison. The gavel falls, final resounding. Hargrove slumps, his face ashen. His lawyer protests, but the marshals move in, cuffing him. The irony isn't lost on Alyssa, cuffs on him now, not her. The crowd erupts in applause, but she remains composed, her dignity restored. Reporters scribble furiously, cameras flashing. She's no longer the humiliated woman dragged across the lobby. She's a symbol of resilience, a black woman who turned pain into power. As Hargrove is led away, Marcus catches her eye from the gallery, nodding with quiet pride. Alyssa allows herself a small nod back. This victory is hers, but it's also theirs. 2 kids from South Baltimore who refuse to stay small. The courtroom clears, but Alyssa lingers, her fingers tracing the bench. Justice has been served, but it's only one battle. Hargrove's punishment exposes a crack in the system, but the war against prejudice rages on. She steps down, her robe flowing, and walks into the hallway. A young black girl, maybe 10, waits with her mother, eyes wide. "You're the judge," she asks, voice awed. Alyssa kneels, smiling. "I am. And you can be anything you want." The girl beams, and Alyssa's heart swells. This moment, this victory is for her, for all who've been told they don't belong. But as she exits, a reporter's question lingers. "Judge Monroe, will you pursue further action against the department?" The weight of what's next presses down. Hargrove's fall is a start, but his allies remain. Alyssa's fight isn't over. It's just begun. The courtroom victory ripples outward, but Alyssa knows Hargrove's fall is just the surface. Days after the verdict, Marcus calls her to his office, his face grim. "We dug deeper," he says, sliding a file across his desk. Hargrove wasn't alone. The file details a network officer's supervisors, even a deputy commissioner who shielded Hargrove's pattern of targeting black professionals. Complaints, buried reports, altered victims silenced. Alyssa's case was no accident. It was part of a calculated effort to keep order in a system that feared change. The revelation stings. Alyssa had trusted the system she served, believing her robe could shield her. But the system failed not just her, but countless others. Hargrove's allies falsified records, intimidated witnesses, and promoted a culture where prejudice thrived unchecked. Her taser scars ache as she reads a reminder of how close she came to being another erased name. Yet the truth breaks free. Officer Tate, emboldened by Alyssa's courage, leaks internal memos to the press. Other officers, long silent, step forward, some black, some white, all tired of complicity. A janitor from the courthouse, Ms. Evelyn, testifies about Hargrove's slurs against minority staff, her voice trembling but resolute. "I stayed quiet too long," she says. "No more." The media erupts. Headlines scream of corruption, protests swell outside the precinct. Alyssa watches from her chambers, heart heavy but hopeful. The silent are speaking their voices, a chorus against a rotten core. But the system's roots run deep. The deputy commissioner resigns, but others dodge accountability, claiming ignorance. Alyssa knows justice is still out of reach, a half-won battle in a war she didn't choose. She sits at her desk, the file open, her mother's words echoing. "They'll try to break you. Hargrove's plot is exposed, but the system's failure cuts deeper. She's a judge yet powerless against the machine's inertia. Still the voices, Evelyn's, Tate's, the protesters light a fire." Alyssa grips her pen, ready to write the next chapter, knowing the truth once spoken can't be silenced. Alyssa stands in her chambers, the verdict against Hargrove sealed, her name cleared. The courtroom hailed her as a hero, a black woman who toppled a bigot. Yet the victory tastes bitter. Justice came, but at a steep price. The media frenzy painted her as a symbol, but it also exposed her pain, every taser scar, every slur dissected on news feeds. Her husband Jamal fields endless calls, his worry etched deep. Their quiet evenings are gone, replaced by threats from Hargrove's supporters, venomous letters piling on her desk. Her health phrase. Nightmares of the courthouse lobby jolt her awake, her chest aching where the taser struck. Doctors warn of stress, her blood pressure spikes, her hands tremble during rulings. Colleagues whisper, some in awe, others in resentment, questioning if she's too emotional now. Her reputation, once spotless, carries a shadow. She's Judge Monroe, yes, but also the woman who was cuffed, humiliated. The system she trusted let her down, and the stain lingers. Alyssa sits staring at a photo of her mother, whose tired eyes seem to ask, "Is it worth it?" Justice is never easy, never perfect. Hargrove's in prison, but his allies skulk, untouchable for now. She could retreat. Seek peace, let others carry the torch. Her family begs her to rest, to heal, but the young black girl from the courthouse eyes, wide with hope, haunts her. So do Evelyn's words. Tate's courage, the protesters' chants. She rises, resolve hardening. She'll fight on not for fame, but for those silence, for the next girl dreaming of a robe. The cost is heavy, but Alyssa chooses the gavel over silence, knowing every step forward cracks the system's flaws wider open. Alyssa's case ignites a reckoning. The city council, pressured by protests, passes a new ordinance mandating body cameras for courthouse security and bias training for all officers. Federal investigators launch a probe into the police department, suspending 3 of Hargrove's allies. Petitions for systemic reform gather thousands of signatures, amplified by social media campaigns. News outlets, once focused on sensationalism, now run exposés on racial profiling, crediting Alyssa's courage. Her story shifts the narrative, forcing a city to confront its flaws. She's offered awards, plaques, speeches, titles of honor. Alyssa declines, most wary of being a token. Instead, she speaks at community forums, her voice steady, urging accountability. The young black girl from the courthouse attends one, clutching a notebook, dreaming of law school. Alyssa notices her resolve deepening. She chooses a quieter path, stepping back from the spotlight. Her health demands it. Her heart craves it, yet her impact endures. One evening, Alyssa sweeps her front yard, the broom's rhythm grounding her. She pauses, placing a single white rose on her mother's old mailbox, a memorial to her strength. The neighborhood hums. Kids playing, neighbors chatting. She walks among them, no robe, just Alyssa, part of a community rewriting its future. The rose glows in the dusk, a symbol of battles fought and change begun. Racist cops officer humiliates black woman, didn't know she was a judge.